What is up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. My name is erinbies. I am a wife, a mom, a military veteran, and I spent 13 and a half years in multi-level marketing, healed my way out, and now I'm using all of my social media platforms to educate and raise awareness around the dangers of multi-level marketing companies and the tactics used by their reps. Today, we're going to talk about an MLM coach. I'm not sure that I've actually featured him on my channel before, but we're going to start. Yeah, because we need to talk about this. Anyways, if you're brand new, hello. If you'd like to follow me on social media, here's how you can do that. Shout out to everybody that watches. And by the way, I feel like it's really important because sometimes I do mention merch. Sometimes I do, well, most videos, I make sure that I thank all the members that are supporting me. And I don't want anybody to feel like that's the only way to support me. If you are somebody that watches the video, watches it all the way through, comments if you feel comfortable, that support is absolutely incredible. And I'm so grateful for that. So please don't feel like, pressured financially to do any of those things. I feel like I needed to say that. So just watching and commenting and all of that stuff is the best way to support. And if you are in a place where you want to do something additional, that's cool. But I don't know. I just felt like I wanted to say that to you guys. So, we're going to talk about Bob Heilig today. We're going to react to one of his videos. He calls himself Your Virtual Upline. Weird. And I've seen some things from him. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. But we're going to react to the video together. His video is about 30 minutes. So this is probably going to be a good 45 minutes at least. So let's go.
I wanted to hop on here today and actually share a story with you from a recent coaching call that I did with a client of mine. Her name was Shannon. And Shannon was struggling. I think this is something a lot of you are going to probably relate to. She was really struggling understanding what exactly she should be saying to people when she was sharing her business with them. So most of the conversations that she was having with people about her business were just not really connecting in the way that she wanted them to. And she noticed that when she started to talk about her business in the manner in which she did, she would always lose people. And so I want to kind of share this story because I think it's a really powerful example of how we need to start shifting the conversations that we're having with people about our business to better meet them where they are in their life. So here's kind of the circumstances. So one of our clients, Shannon, came to me and she said, Bob, I'm really struggling getting people interested in my business. And I said, okay, so what are you saying? That's always the first question. I want to know what are you saying? And she said to me what I hear from most people, because this is what we're really taught and kind of conditioned to say when we think of network marketing and social selling. And we think of kind of the end destination that we're all shooting for, right? We think of kind of the dream of what a business like this could bring us. We have a tendency to start talking about things like financial independence and freedom and purpose, right? Like when we think of a journey that somebody might take in a business like this, I want you to imagine two different points. Point A is where you start. Now, every single one of you had a point A in your business, and your point A was where you were in your life right before you made the decision to commit to doing this. And for some of you, that might be different. You may have started with the products. You may have been using the products for some time before you decided to pursue this as a business. Some of you may have joined the business but did nothing with it for a year or so. But if you think there was a moment when you finally said, I want to give this thing a try, something probably happened in your life or something was going on in your life. That's your point A. Now,
point A is a pain point. Okay. That was a lot of word salad. He could have just said that.
B, if you can think of it, that's the destination. That's where we all want to go, right? This is what we're taught to talk about. We're taught to talk about freedom, free time, money, right? All these things that somebody can get. And
none of which you get from multi-level marketing. None of that.
So the tendency is this. We're taught that when we share our business with people, we're taught to sell the dream. We're taught to sell that point B, right? Get people to think bigger. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't do that, but I want you to recognize this. Most people that you're going to talk to about your business, when you sell them on the end destination, it's so far beyond what they can even believe is possible for their life.
And it's also an extremely small percentage of people that actually achieve that. And according to the FTC, it's over 99% of people that lose money or don't make any at all. So by people in multi-level marketing saying, listen, financial freedom, time freedom, you're going to make all this money, you can do all of this stuff, it's actually 0.03% of people that join it and actually reach that. And it's because of recruiting.
Coaching Shannon, and I asked her, I said, Shannon, tell me a little bit about your point A. Because I find it's always helpful to understand how somebody started in the business. And so here's what she shared with me. She shared with me this really powerful story about how she had just gone through a really bad divorce. She was a single mom staying at home. She had to find work to be able to support her family financially, but she didn't want to, she couldn't just go get a regular job because she had young children. And she said, I was taking the products of the company that I'm in, and the person that sold me the products for a long time was trying to get me to do it. And I just didn't think it was something that I could do. I had never done anything like that before. My confidence was really down because of this.
So think about this. In this story, Shannon is a single mom that needed to go and find a job to support her family. But she was buying these MLM products, which means the person that sold them to her, in my opinion, probably hit some pain points to get this person to buy the product. You guys let me know what you think, but did you hear that in this story as well?
The divorce and everything I went through. And she said, I finally got to the point where I had no other options. And I said, why not give this thing a shot? She's like, I shared it with a couple of people. They bought from me. And she's like, one day in the mail, I opened it up and I got a check. And she said it was a $56 commission check. And she went on to share with me, she said, that to you might not seem like a big deal. To most people, it probably wouldn't. But to me, at that point in my life, that $56 check changed my life forever.
And how much was she spending each month on the products? Was she spending $100? Was she spending $75? What was she spending every month? Because you have to look at the whole picture. One thing, in my opinion, multi-level marketers and these MLM coaches are really good at is not telling the entire story, not telling all of the hidden expenses. We see this from countless MLM companies, and one thing he's leaving out is, what was she spending? What did she spend to join? What was she spending every single month to buy this product that, in my opinion, she was probably preyed on in a vulnerable space by her leader or whatever? Tell the whole story, because in a business, profit and loss statements are a must to see how healthy that business is. Not that an MLM company is a business. The company itself is a business. The distributors are contracted employees. I say that all the time, but what was she spending? What did she spend to join? $56? She's probably already in the red, already in a deficit.
I said, tell me more about that. She goes, well, what it showed me was that it was possible for me to do something like this. She said, in that moment, this story that I had created around myself, that I wasn't capable, I couldn't do something like that. She goes, I was staring right back in the face, the proof that I could. And she said, it wasn't a huge thing, but it was a small step in the right direction.
And the other thing that conveniently is left out is that many of these companies have a fast start program where the bonuses are increased for your first couple of months. And in my opinion, they do that for a very, very specific reason. If you have a new distributor that's making the $56 check and like, oh my gosh, I just sold to a handful of people or whatever, it's an inflated sense of hope. Okay, $56. All right, well, I can do that some more. But what happens after that fast start period ends? The commission drops. And they were like, wait, I don't understand, because a lot of these programs are not really explained to these distributors. And so they have this false sense of hope that, oh my gosh, just like what he's saying, oh my gosh, this is so exciting. I've got this $56 check. It is possible. But she was in that fast start period where the bonuses are amplified. And after that fast start period, those commissions drop. And that's really what people make or don't make in multi-level marketing.
And I was like, wow, what a powerful story. And then I brought it back to the beginning and I said, Shannon, I want you to think about the things that you're talking about to people. And I said, let me ask you this. If your friend that signed you up as a customer, if she would have came to you at that point in your life and started talking to you about financial freedom and time freedom and purpose and all this stuff, if she would have started talking to you about that stuff, how would you have responded? She said, I wouldn't have. She goes, I would have just shrugged it right off because I just didn't see those things. And I say, exactly. I said, when's the last time you told the story of your $56 check? She goes, I don't. I go, well, there's your problem. See, here's one of the greatest realizations that I want all of you to take from this. Before you sell someone the dream, right? Before you sell them on the big vision of how their life can transform, you need to meet them where they are. Before we sell the dream, we need to connect with people around problems. This is the foundation of what we teach, a form of selling that we call transformational selling, and how to have transformational conversations. See,
you know what's crazy to me is that he's acting like this is a solution for people. You know, people that need to make some extra money, that need to have their groceries paid for, and these small things is essentially what he's coaching these people to do. But statistically, that's not how that happens. If you really look at the data, whether it's the income disclosure statement from the company or if it's from the statistics from the FTC, the average that people make in MLMs is zero, or they lose money. So the fact that there's somebody that has, Shannon in this example, joined an MLM and her first check was $56, but we don't have the rest of the story. What did she spend to join? What is it that her monthly auto ship order is, if she has one, which she was ordering products, so we know she was spending something, you know. And so what's the whole story with that? And then you throw into all of that the fact that people pay him within the demographic of people in multi-level marketing that are not making money or losing money, and they're paying him. So he's teaching people how to dangle hope when he himself is dangling hope. And the entire mathematical formula shows that it's impossible. It's statistically impossible for these people to make the kind of money that they talk about for financial freedom and all of that stuff. Yikes. I don't know how people that are MLM coaches, I don't know how they can sleep at night knowing that, in my opinion, they're preying on other people that are already losing money, that are already hurting, that are already like, I need to make this work. And data shows that it doesn't work for hardly anybody, the 0.03%. You can actually make money, because I live in Vegas, you can actually make more money gambling than you can in multi-level marketing.
one of the things that I've learned, and it took me a long time to learn this, people will not buy your success. People will actually not care about your success until they first buy and understand your failure. See, they need to see the challenges. They need to be able to relate to you.
Well, yeah, that's how you manipulate people. You share your pain points. You share these vulnerable posts, trying to get people to comment or get in your inbox so that you can have a conversation, to point them to the video that is an emotionally charged video so that they go, oh my God, me too. And then they end up signing up. Yikes.
And see, I coach a lot of, I'll coach a lot of more successful leaders, and they get to this place in their business where it becomes really hard for them to actually recruit because everybody they talk to looks at them and say, I could never do what you did, right? It's like the more successful we become, the less relatable we are. And so you have to learn how to work even harder to be able to bring your story back in a way that it connects with people. And the way that we do that is we focus on that point A. And once we connect with somebody around a problem, and once they really truly believe that we are like them, right, that we understand them, then and only then do we have the trust and the ability to influence them to maybe take that first step. And I said, Shannon,
I can't believe he's saying this. Like, this is a good thing.
when you think about the things that you were really looking for back in that moment of your life, you weren't looking for freedom. You were looking for confidence. You were looking for a greater sense of self-worth. You were looking for community.
I'm sorry. Did you forget the fact that Shannon said she had to look for a job? She was looking to make more money. She didn't say anything about community in that story, according to you. But now she was looking for community and confidence. By the way, you can learn how to be confident anywhere else. You can find community anywhere else. People start in multi-level marketing because they think that it's a viable way to make extra income, and it's not. His story is kind of changing. Shannon joined because she wanted to make extra income, according to the beginning of this.
You were looking for support. You were looking for encouragement. Those are the things that you need to be talking about on the front end of your sales process. And so what's interesting is we'll coach a lot of our clients are people that haven't had a lot of success. And they haven't grown a team, and some of them haven't even recruited somebody. So they'll come to us with absolutely no confidence or belief in themselves whatsoever in their ability to actually connect with people, because we're conditioned in this profession and in the world in general, we're conditioned that success is tied to some sort of an achievement or a result. And so what we naturally have...
But wouldn't that $56 check be some kind of a result? I feel like what he's saying is not making any sense. I feel like what he's saying is he's using fancier words, if you will, and putting it in a word salad and just basically saying, listen, you've got to be vulnerable. You've got to, find other people's pain points. Yikes, Bob.
A tendency to do as entrepreneurs is we assign our sense of self-worth in our business to the rank that we hold or the amount of money that we make. And so we find ourselves, a lot of people, they find themselves in this kind of like weird place where we're supposed to be confident and we're supposed to believe in the ability for us to help these people like live this dream life. But meanwhile, and then when I look at what they're saying, I say, well, it's because it is inauthentic. Like you're only talking about and selling a dream and something to people that you don't have. Now, are there some people that can do that? Yes, but most people can't.
Ew.
And so what I get people to understand is this. See, you are capable of helping people in a way that is very important. When we think about where we started in our own journey, and we think about the things that we were looking for, and then we look at everything that you've got in your business, right? Like that same person that comes to me and says, I have no confidence. How can I go out and help people? I say, well, let's forget about your rank. Let's forget about the results for just a second. And let's talk about you. Are you a different person today than you were when you started? And then all of a sudden they go from down and kind of dejected to like they perk up and they say, oh my God, I'm like totally different. I'm a better mother. I'm a better spouse. I'm a better boss, employee. I've got a positive mindset.
Bob, Oh, being in a multi-level marketing company does not make you a better mother. It doesn't make you a better boss. It doesn't make you a better employee. It's almost like he's trying to pitch MLM for just the personal development and the community. But if people are wanting a side hustle, it's clearly to make extra money.
Better leader, I have better habits, I have better health. Like they just go on and on and on and on and on about this like long list of things about how they've personally grown and all the intangible stuff that they've gotten connection.
Hi. Also, you can grow just from like YouTube videos, listening to podcasts. You don't have to join an MLM in order to personally develop.
Community, relationships. And then I say, okay, so stop for 1 second. Think back to where you were before you started. Were those things that you desired in your life? And they say, yeah, absolutely. I go, do you believe that you can offer that to people? They say, yeah. I go, well, how do you know that? They say, because I have it. I go, exactly. Why not stop focusing on what you don't have, which is the rank, the results, the checks, thinking that you just need to figure out a way to make yourself believe that that's what you're doing. You're all.
Oh my God, it's the manipulation for me. This is really gross.
Always going to struggle in your confidence to help somebody do something you haven't done. But by simply shifting your focus to the intangible things like personal growth and all these other things, and you realize that's what you really needed when you started, your level of confidence and belief in your ability to help people goes through the roof.
Oh my God.
And all of this, by the way, is rooted in this life-changing realization that, that we try to bring people to, which is this. And I'll say this to every single one of you that's watching this. You are your ideal prospect. You are the person that you're looking for. You're not looking for some magical, mystical unicorn that's going to join your team one day and all of a sudden just run with it and turn your business around. You're looking for the version of you right before you started your journey. You are looking for the version of you that's still at point A.
Ugh.
And your job is to simply give them the hope and the faith that something is possible, help them take that first step. And see, if we show up every day in conversations with that mindset, how can I help or can I help? And we have the confidence to know that we absolutely can deliver these things to people. We start getting different results. And so all of this is really the foundation of having a transformational mindset and
to be able to manipulate people. I just was finishing what he was saying there.
Approaching selling from a transformational way. But I want you to think about that. If that were true, if you were your ideal prospect, and your job was to just help people that are like you before you started, think about all the things that you were struggling with in your life, and think about the things that you needed to hear, that you wish someone was saying to you. And when you're in a conversation with somebody, ask the questions that will guide a discussion in that area and share parts of your story and your life that will connect with them. And watch how much easier it is
to manipulate people. Also just finishing what he's saying.
People to take action. See, because that's where we create an emotional connection. And at the end of the day,
it's a business. Why do you have to have an emotional connection? It's a product, and this is what it does. If people are interested, they buy it. Like, MLM is the only industry where, in my opinion, they have this emotional relationship, or they try to have this emotional relationship with people. When I shop on Amazon, there's no emotional connection. I am looking for a specific product, I go and I order it. Or any retail store, there's no emotional connection. But here you have Bob, who's teaching people how to emotionally connect with people. And in my opinion, it's just so that they can be manipulated.
People don't buy your products and they don't buy your business, they buy you. And That's how we bring value into a conversation. So just wanted to share that with you today. I want you to think about how does that, take a look at your conversations. Are you spending too much time selling the dream, right? Before you connect with people around where they are, right? It's hard to see the dream when you feel like you're living in a nightmare still. So let's meet people where they are, and then and only then let's help them start to think bigger. So
It's hard to live a dream when you're, what did he say? Oh my God.
that's my message to you today. So hey, listen, if you got any value out of this, and you've heard me talking about this concept of building a transformational business, there's a lot of different parts of this. I want to give you a quick heads up. We're actually doing a free workshop next Wednesday, teaching you how to set transformational business goals. This is a very different way of approaching the topic of goal setting. So if you're somebody that's always struggled with setting,
The amount of times that I have heard this is very different. How we set goals here is very different. The amount of times that I have heard that, that's why I'm giggling, because I'm like, okay.
goals, it always made you feel anxious and it was scary, and more importantly, you just never really are able to achieve the goals because there's no real emotional attachment, then I'm going to invite you to join us next week. We're going to be doing a free 90-minute workshop. I've got nothing to sell you. I'm not promoting anything. We're just going to be delivering some value and trying to serve our community. If you're interested in potentially attending or joining, all you have to do is just comment the word goals, GOALS, comment the word goals, and we'll send you some information of how you can register. It's happening next Wednesday on the 14th at noon Eastern. It's going to be 90 minutes, teaching, coaching, Q&A, and it should be an incredible session. So let me just take a minute or two here. I'm not on Instagram Live as much as I should be. I'm curious if any of you might have any questions related to what I talked about today, or just selling, conversations in general. You know, the one thing that I'm noticing is there's lots of companies and there's lots of teams that I see struggling right now. And one of the reasons why I believe they're struggling is because they're still using a method of selling that worked several years ago, but is becoming less and less effective today. We call it.
And maybe it's becoming less effective because of the amount of education and awareness that the anti-MLM movement is bringing. Just maybe.
Transactional selling. So if you're somebody that just generally struggles with selling in conversations, and you've got a question or something that I could help you with, I'd love to be able to see if I can do that. So I'll see if I missed anything, but just drop a question in there. And thank you to all of you that are dropping goals in there and requesting information about the free training next week. So
he still goes on for like 14 minutes. So we're going to listen to this for a second. And if this next like 14 minutes is answering questions, we're not going to do that.
Okay, so Trisha wants me to say more about meeting people where they're at relative to selling. Okay, so Trisha,
get out of your commercial cult.
Let me define. Let me share with you my definition of selling. All selling is, it's having a conversation with someone with the intention to get them to take some sort of an action.
Why do we have to redefine the definition of sales? They spend so much time and effort trying to redefine words. It's wild to me. That's why we see it used to be called multi-level marketing. Now we see network marketing, social retail, social selling. I saw like relationship networking or something along those lines. Just call it what it is.
Okay, that's selling. It's just a conversation with the intention of getting somebody to take an action. Now, when we talk about the different ways to sell, there's only two different ways to sell in your business: transactionally, or what we call transformationally. Now, transactional selling is...
According to who? Is that your definition? What are your sources on that? What do you?
What I talked about earlier, where we're always kind of selling the dream. We're pushing people towards some sort of a desired result. And when you look at transactional conversations, they're mostly focused on two things: product and price. Telling people how great what we have is, whether it's product or business, as a way to get them interested, or we're manipulating price or cost in some way so that it makes it seem like what we have is more valuable. So when it comes to manipulating price, what we have a tendency, and what a lot of companies and people do, is we try to make it less expensive in the way of discounting or running incentives or promotions, or a common strategy that I see a lot of people using that I totally disagree with is taking somebody that is really only interested in becoming a customer and actually pushing them to sign up as a consultant to get a discount on the products. But really all it is it's kind of a veiled attempt at getting them to actually do the business when they may not be ready. But in essence, all we really did was discount our products to be able to get them to actually buy from us. And so, or when it comes to the business, we think of what is the price of somebody building the business? Well, the price of building the business is the amount of time, money, and effort it takes to be successful. So what we have a tendency to do is we have a tendency to try to downplay those things, make it seem easier, make it seem like it's less work, thinking that's how we get people interested. It's actually exactly the opposite. We push the kind of people that we want away from us, the committed quality people, and we attract the ones to us that are looking for a quick buck. And then we get frustrated because we're like, why doesn't anybody that I sign up do anything? I'm like, because you're talking to the wrong people, right? So when we're...
But isn't multi-level marketing for everybody? How many times have you guys seen somebody say, this is for everybody?
Transactionally selling, we're not really present in a conversation. We're not listening to what the other person says. We're not asking purposeful questions. We're just going through this process to try to push people to the result that we want. When I say meeting people where they are, what I like to use the phrase when we talk about transformational selling, I like to say the difference is this: transactional selling always feels like pressure. It's selling from pressure. It's pitching, it's pushing, it's closing, it's handling objections, it's pushing people, and it feels like you're being sold. Transformational selling is selling from presence, not pressure. And it is a completely different experience, not only for the person that's on the other end of the conversation, but for you as well. So when I think of meeting somebody where they are, here's kind of the visual that I would give you. We know that there's a desired result that we want, which is you want to get them to buy from you and you want to get them to join you. And it's not that when you're selling transformationally, you don't want those things. The difference is this: you don't need those things. And that's not your primary focus. See, think of it like this. When you're in a sales conversation, think about how anxious you get and how scary it is. And like the other person's talking to you, but you're just really waiting for them to finish talking so that you can say the next thing you want to say to get them to go to where you want them to go. That's not selling from presence. Selling from presence means that I'm in a conversation. My primary focus is not to make a sale. It's to make a difference in someone else's life. And I genuinely want to find out, can I help this person? Do they have a problem that they are struggling with that I...
You're not helping people when you're selling them a multi-level marketing overpriced product. You're not helping people by recruiting them into a multi-level marketing company.
I might be able to help. And so we go into a conversation asking purposeful questions to try to uncover,
to emotionally manipulate, in my opinion,
and identify a problem. So meeting them where they are means that I want to understand the current state of their life and everything that's happening before I can determine whether I'm going to move forward with them.
Can you imagine if in any other sales industry, other than multi-level marketing. Let's just say you go into Ulta or Sephora and you're going in to buy makeup. And essentially what he's talking about is qualifying who you're talking to. Are they somebody that I want on my team? Are they somebody I want to sell to? Are their problems, extreme enough? I don't know. That he didn't say that obviously, but what he's doing is he's qualifying people to see if there's somebody you want to recruit or if they're a customer. Can you imagine if everything that he has said happened to us when we went into Target or Ulta or Sephora or anywhere else that you like to shop, and you pick up whatever, and then they're like, hang on a second, I need to ask you some questions to make sure that this is going to solve your problem. Okay, and they start asking you questions to qualify if you should be making that purchase. Can y'all imagine that? Especially things that he's probably teaching his people to do, which is to ask the questions that bring out emotions. Remember, not that long ago, he was talking about Shannon and confidence and community. You weren't really looking for money per se. You were looking for community. You were looking for support. It's a switch. It's an emotional, manipulative. Ugh, that's the official term. I'm just kidding. Can y'all imagine that?
Now, there's a lot of people in our profession, what they do is they sell prepackaged solutions to problems. So I'll explain to you what I mean. And by the way,
and that is where health claims come from. That's where medical claims come from. Oh, you need to lose some weight? Take this product. It's going to have you pooping for 4 days, but you're going to lose 12 pounds. Congratulations. Oh, you can't sleep? Okay, here's an overpriced CBD product. I know you can get it for, half the price in your area, but you're supporting a small business. Like, come on.
if you're interested in getting some information about our transformational goal setting training next week,
We're not.
it's a free training we're doing, 90-minute live training. Just drop the word goals into the comments, GOALS, goals, and we'll send you some information.
Why do you have to spell that for your audience?
But going back to what I said, so when we think about meeting somebody where they are, right? When we think about a problem, here's a really important.
He has taken this long to answer one question about how to meet people where they're at.
Important thing. Most people sell prepackaged solutions to problems. So you're struggling with your weight. Oh, if you're struggling with your weight, you have to take this thing that I have because it'll be great for you, this product. Or I don't
That's a health claim. You can't say that.
have enough energy. Well, you got to take this product because it'll help you have more energy. Or, I don't have a lot of free time, or, I need to find work that I'm more passionate about. Okay, well, you got to do this because you'll love this. Or it's the whole, hey girl, you'd be great at this, which to me is one of the most inauthentic things you can say. And here's the reason why. A problem is not a problem when it comes to transformational selling until you take the time to understand the uniqueness of the problem.
Is he for real? It's not a problem unless you understand the uniqueness of the problem. Bob, what are you talking about? It's a problem if somebody feels like it's a problem. What?
So what does that mean? Well, somebody tells me they're struggling with energy. Instead of me going into my transactional pre-pitched, you need to do this, I slow down because I'm present.
Oh, so let me guess. You say things like, well, how does that feel? How do you feel at the end of the day when you don't get everything done on your to-do list? Or how does it feel when you are sitting on the couch and you'd rather be on the floor playing with your kids? Or how does it feel when whatever? You know what I'm saying? Oh, this is bad.
I acknowledge what they say. I say, tell me more about that. See, I genuinely want to understand. See, the uniqueness of the problem, if you think about let's say that you're talking to a stay-at-home mother that has 3 kids. She's struggling with
Hi, stay-at-home mom, leave us alone. Okay, thanks.
energy. Okay. I want to understand in what other ways is that impacting her life. See, the uniqueness of the problem is where
And you know what? Like, that's none of your business. Really.
all of the value in a conversation lies. It's you getting a chance to really connect to and relate to. So when we go through this process, we think through our own journey and we think through the uniqueness of our own problem. And when we're in a conversation, we're asking questions to try to identify, is this person like me? And so what happens is this. We start having these really meaningful conversations where the other person that you're talking to, what they're thinking and what they're feeling is, wow, like this person really gets me. They're taking the time to actually understand this thing in my life. Most people in our profession, it's just a transaction. That's all it is. It's a sale.
Okay, I want to ask you guys that are watching this. If somebody was asking you a bunch of questions, let's run his scenario. If you are somebody and you come across an Instagram post or whatever, and you're like, oh, this is for energy. And they start asking you a bunch of questions like he's mentioning, how many of you, or how would you feel in that, knowing that they're asking you these really intense questions that feel a little like, hey, this really is like, I'm just trying to see if I want to buy this product. But then they're asking all of these kind of questions. You guys let me know how you would feel in that scenario, because I'm genuinely curious. For me, if I found a product that I was like, oh, I really, this looks kind of cool or whatever, and they started to ask me questions, personal questions, I'd be like, that's really none of your business at all.
God forbid anybody ever posts on social media that they're looking for work or that they need a new whatever product. You might as well just, cue the vultures. Every single network marketer and social seller that they're connected to are going to start throwing them messages.
That's because they all use the same language. They all claim that products help with energy and focus and sleep, and they all do that.
You got to do this. Yeah. That's what turns people off. See, what I would do, same scenario, somebody said, I'm looking for a job. I would message them and say, hey, I saw that. Why are you looking? Let me understand. What do you not like about work? I got it. What are you looking for?
And that's none of your business, Bob.
Just slow down. Don't go so quickly for the pitch, right? Don't go so quickly for the sale. Let's take some time to actually understand what somebody's going through, because here's the psychology behind this. It's really powerful. If somebody believes that you understand their problems and their life, and it's the uniqueness of the problem. If somebody believes that you understand their problems,
it's easier for you to manipulate them. Just filling in the gaps here, in my opinion.
They will automatically assume that you can help them. I'll leave you with this story. You may have heard me tell this story before. You may have not. It's a really powerful example of this method of selling and how it works. So I was in a company for a very long time that our preferred way of presenting the business to people was, looking back, it was very transactional. And so and just to redefine what transactional sales conversations are, they're product focused, number one. So what I used to do is I would, and I'm going to date myself a little bit here. We used to meet people for presentations. Anybody that was interested, I'd say, hey, let's go grab a cup of coffee. Let's meet at Starbucks, whatever. And so I would sit down with somebody and I would go into, it was almost like my network marketer switch went off and I would just go into my mode. Like, I knew I had an hour. I had the whole hour scripted out. I'd sit down, I'd ask a couple of questions because you're supposed to build rapport and get to know the person. And then I would go into my presentation and I'd pull out my materials and I'd talk about the company, the products, the comp plan, and just tell how great it was. I'd interject my story. And my upline told me, he said, Bob, you can't talk the whole time. That's weird. So and it literally was like, at this point in the presentation, I want you to look at them and say, does that make sense? They would say yes. And I said, okay, now we're talking, right? But this is what I used to do. And, when I think back, I think about how I would get to the end of this process with people, and it would be so hard to get somebody to say yes. Like I would have to you're just I'm beating them over the head with information and details. And I'm like, how do you not get this? And I would even have a lot of people that would say the right things to me. They would say, this sounds great. I totally get it. But they just couldn't say yes. So I couldn't get them over the edge. That's the problem with transactional selling. It doesn't create an emotional attachment to the act of doing it.
But why do you need an emotional attachment unless your focus is to emotionally manipulate people to do what you want them to do? Yikes.
This one person I met, a friend of a friend introduced me to him, and he introduced me to him because we were both in medical sales, and he was interested in maybe looking at something else. He had no idea what I did other than you need to talk to this guy, that type of a deal. And I knew coming into it that this guy was exactly like me. So I remember thinking, and I don't even know if it was an intentional thing, but I just remember thinking, I'm going to forget about the sales stuff. I just want to sit down and I want to get to know this guy. And I want to genuinely find out, is he like me? Because maybe his life and his company was similar to the way mine was, with a lot of insecurity, uncertainty, frustration because compensation kept getting trimmed. I just want to find that out. And we sat down. It was at the Radisson Hotel in Northeast Philadelphia. It's where we used to do our weekly meetings. And I just talked to the guy. And I was genuinely interested in him. And I asked him questions, and I shared my own experience and stories, and we connected and we related. And we were getting to the point where it was towards the end of the hour. And I knew that we only had an hour. And I'll never forget what happened. He stops me mid-sentence and he goes, okay. He goes, I'm in. And I was like, wait. I was like, what do you mean? He goes, I'm in. And I was totally thrown off and startled. I'm like, and then I kind of start laughing to myself. I'm like, well, don't you want to know what it is? You don't even know what it is. And I'll never forget what he said to me. This changed my life forever. He said, it doesn't matter. He said, because I believe that you can help me. And if you're doing it, I want to do it too. And it was in that moment that I understood this is the way that you create value for what you do. It's not by talking. It's not by pitching. It's not by posting. It's by listening, asking purposeful questions, connecting. See, the reason why he wanted to do it, he didn't care what the name of the company, he didn't even care what we were selling, because I sold him on me and I built trust. And he assumed, if you're doing it, I'm interested as well. And I think there's a lesson to be learned there. We spend so much time in this profession. We're taught to spend on closing, handling objections. I'm telling you right now, all of that is a waste of time. You want to know when the close happens? It doesn't happen at the end. It happens at the beginning. The way that you introduce somebody to your business, that conversation that you have on the front end of sharing your third-party tool, of ATMing them into your group, the conversation you have on the front end is the single most important part of the process. You have a responsibility to develop the skill of selling differently in your business. So this is the number one thing that we help people with. This is really my passion, my purpose, is to change the way that people sell so that they can create better results, they can make a bigger impact, and they can fall in love with their business again. How nice would it be to go out there and have conversations with people every day that were fun and fulfilling, that whether they said yes.
Okay, I'm just done with that because You can have a business and have conversations with people that are fun and fulfilling. Like, that's a normal thing. Oh, wow. Yeah. Anyways, what did you guys think of today's video? I know you probably were you're commenting like crazy. I appreciate that so much. I love responding to all of your comments. And yeah, yuck. So what did we learn today? In my opinion, how to emotionally manipulate people to do what they want you to do. Yeah. Anyways, if you love the video, feel free to give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. That would be amazing. And if you'd like, turn the bell notification on so you get notified whenever I go live or upload a video. Guys, don't join an MLM. You're going to lose time, money, energy. It's absolutely not worth it. And especially if you're in an MLM and you are feeling hopeless and you're like, what am I doing? Reaching out to one of these MLM coaches is not going to help. I would encourage you to go to YouTube. You're already here probably, and if you're watching this, and look up anti MLM and then the name of your company, and just try to remove the MLM filter, watch some videos and see what it feels like. See if what's being told in the video, you're like, wait, that's accurate, that's happening. Look for your company's income disclosure statement if they have one. If they don't have one, that should be a red flag. Go through the FTC website, search multi-level marketing on the FTC website, and start doing some research for yourself. Do it for yourself. Okay? All right. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for watching all the way through. I appreciate you so much, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye, everybody.